Hey everybody, how are ya? So, day 7. It is officially 1 week through the Bible. Sorry, I'm taking my headphones off. We've made it 1 full week through the Bible. And today we finished reading up Genesis chapters 18, 19, and 20. Just to catch you guys up, we are doing a 1 year through the Bible devotional. Each day I read the outlined reading. I do go ahead and read the devotional part as well. It does help in some of what I talk about, but not all of what we discuss here comes straight from the devotional, but the devotional does have an outline of what we're reading. I guess not an outline. That might not be a good word for it. It has a plan laid out for what to read each day in order to read through the Bible cover to cover in 1 year. Today's reading, I think in the devotional, it kind of hit the topic pretty well of what I took from it as well. And in this, it was, Sodom and Gomorrah and it being destroyed because of the abundance of sin that was taking place within Sodom and Gomorrah. And the thing is that I took from it, and the thing that really stood out was kind of what is said in the devotional, which is they titled today's reading, "Is God Fair?" And in chapter 18, basically God appears to Abraham and is like, look, I'm going to go destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's that. And Abraham was like, well, surely you're not going to destroy all the good people that are there along with the bad people, right? Like, if there's 50, righteous people there, you'll save them, right? And this is kind of where God's fairness comes in. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll save 50 if there's 50. And it's kind of funny because Abram's like, okay, well, fine, what if there's only 45? Surely, there being 5 less than what you said, originally. Like, surely you won't destroy everything if there's 45. And God's like, okay, 45. That's fair. And again, Abram's like, okay, well, how about 40? And he keeps it going and keeps, I don't want to say arguing with God, but kind of almost bargaining with God. And he's like, well, okay, 40, how about 35? And he gets all the way down to 10 people. And God's like, fine, that's cool. You know what? If there's 10 righteous people, that's fair. I'll save it. I think though God already knew there wasn't 10 people. And but he did that, okay, that's fair. I'll listen to you. I'll listen to your your requests, basically, from Abraham. He's like, I'll listen to your request, and okay, I'll submit to it. Not submit. God doesn't submit to our requests. He's like, I'll honor your request if it happens. But it didn't. Like, basically, the only righteous person, in Sodom and Gomorrah was Lot and his family, and that kind of took me into a different direction in chapter 19, and reading through that, and it's like, it to me, it was reading about Lot and the Sodom and Gomorrah, and angels came to him and said, look, you gotta leave, we're gonna destroy this, and you have to leave and take your family with you and not look back. And growing up in church, I've heard a lot of living in sin, and this was a very literal sense of what Lot was doing. He was living in and amongst sin, and within the entire, basically, two cities of Sodom and Gomorrah being completely full of sin and no righteous people in it. He was living in sin, and he was told to leave and not look back. And he was, he told his family was told, leave the sin behind and don't look back. And that's, while it was a literal thing that was happening, I think it was also metaphorical. Like, leave that sin behind. Don't look back to it. Unfortunately, Lot's wife did look back and was turned to a pillar of salt. And I think it's kind of interesting that, it's, like I said, it is a literal thing, yet it can be taken very metaphorically as well. And it's really interesting. It's kind of cool to think about how a lot of these stories, while there are literal stories, can be applied to today in a metaphorical way. If metaphorical is a word, I don't know, maybe. But this one was this was a really cool read. It was pretty interesting. The birth of Moab and Benami, I think that's how you say his name. Not real sure. Again, the Bible has a lot of weird names and places and words that are hard to pronounce. So we're going with Benami on this guy. Moab and Benami. Benami. I don't know. We'll mix it up. That was pretty interesting. We got over here to chapter 20, and kind of goes back, Abraham told Sarah to tell this Abimelech, I hope that's how you say his name, I'm not real sure. Adam deceives him and says to tell Sarah to tell Abimelech that she's his sister, not his wife. And it's kind of interesting because I guess this was it comes out later in let's see here. In chapter 20, verse 11, it says, and Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. it was the same thing that he told the other king. Although it does say later on down here in verse 13, and it came to pass when God caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is thy kindness which thou shalt shew me unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, he is my brother. He basically kind of, Abraham and Sarah made kind of a pact, it sounds like, that wherever they go, for the fear of Abraham's life, not to say that she's his wife, rather she's his sister. Which, granted, it does say, well, technically, she's my father's daughter, but not my mother's daughter, so she is technically my sister, but she's also my wife. Big, long, drawn-out craziness. But the main thing that I saw was, these angels came to Abimelech, or actually God came to Abimelech in a dream, and basically was like, don't, I understand you didn't take her as your wife, you didn't touch her, you didn't do anything, but she's already another man's wife, and had you done that, I would have, you would have been ended, you would have been killed. And the fact that it did scare him, that God saying that scared him, and Abram later saying, I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place. It almost was like, Abraham brought the fear of God to Abimelech's, I don't know, city or wherever he was at. So, kind of interesting. Abimelech did return Sarah as Abraham's wife, but he also gave him like 1,000 pieces of silver and a bunch of sheep and oxen and servants, and gave all that to Abraham and said, okay, like, I get it, we're feared, we're fearful now. So that was kind of interesting, and I'm not really sure where that's going to go or how that's going to play out, but it's definitely interesting and something that I'm curious as to see what unfolds because of that. And that's where we're going to end tonight, because that's the end of the end of chapter 20, basically. Man, like I said at the first of this video, we made it a full week, and I am super proud of that. I really appreciate each and every one of you who have taken the time out to watch some of these videos and leave me some comments, and I really appreciate the feedback that I've gotten. I know that there's a lot of you out there that already are, you already know Christ as your Savior, and I think that is amazing and awesome. And for those of you that don't, definitely find a church, reach out to a church, and or at least reach out to an online church group. Find somebody there that can help guide you if you are interested in knowing more about what it means to be born again or saved, or however you want to word it. For those of you who are Christians and are needing prayer for something, I would highly suggest leaving your prayer comments or your prayer requests down in the comments, so that not just myself but the people who are watching it that are Christians as well can pray for you. And like I said, I am thrilled to have you guys here. I am super excited about everything that's happened so far. This past week has been eye-opening in a way, but I'm excited to see it continue to grow. And I've said in all my other videos, if you want to follow along, I do leave links to what we're reading, which is the 1 Year Through the Bible devotional. It's really cool. It's got a lot of really awesome stuff in it. I know I usually only show the cover. This is the inside pages. Basically, it gives us, each day and then our daily reading. It gives you a little bit of some of the passage, and then it gives you some notes to look over and to think about while you're reading. So it's kind of cool. And then in order to read all the way through it, obviously you do need a Bible as well. This Bible is a everyday study Bible, which I do have the links for down in the description below as well. It doesn't look like this one. I'm not sure why I couldn't find this exact one on Amazon, but it's from the same publishers, Holman. It is a King James Version Everyday Study Bible. It just looks different in the link, the one that is that I linked. But a lot of additional, again, real quick. So it's got all up here is the verses and the passages and everything, and then down here in the bottom in this kind of grayish box down here, it's got a bunch of extra tidbits and notes and reference points to maybe what that particular verse was talking about, or to understand more of what this is, it'll say, see, this verse over here. So really cool. It has been a huge help to me having this study Bible to dive in and understand more, because it gives me more than just the verses like a normal Bible. So if you're interested, like I said, head down to the description, click on the links below, and grab yourself one. They're not too expensive. Yeah, I appreciate you guys very much, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Don't forget, this is one video a day, every day for the next year. A little less than 365 days now, because 7 down. And like I said, see you guys tomorrow.